I'm off my pass on the pass. I want to stress myself. Thank God. I'll see you guys later.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I read, Joe. What happened to you?
Straight A's, top of the class, the smart ones. But what does it really take to get here? Is it talent or something deeper? Across schools, high-scoring students are often seen as different, gifted, and even. But behind every result is a system, a lifestyle most people never see.
My name is Araba Fatima Olamide.
Hello everyone, my name is Favor Adeshegu.
I'm a 200 level student of Olabisi Onabanjo. I'm in philosophy department.
A 200 level performing arts student.
I don't wait till exams are close. I read a little every day.
Consistency is their secret, not cramming, but daily effort.
Alright, my name is Oyelana Oluwayoba, a lecturer in the Department of Philosophy, Olabisi Onabanjo University.
The hardest part in maintaining my CGPA is, you have to read, and reading is a lot of things. It's a very stressful thing because me, I don't like reading. It's very hard for me, but I don't have choice. As a student, you have to read. You have to do it.
Sometimes I don't feel like reading, but I still do.
High-scoring students don't just read; they study smart.
There are several mistakes students make while studying. Now, one of the mistakes students make while studying is the lack of intentionality. Now, so many students are not intentional about what they study, and that is why many of them end up cramming what they are supposedly reading, and that eventually leads to the non-comprehension of the fundamentals of what they have read. So such students will go into exam or with practically nothing, and even what they have read, they will eventually end up forgetting, because we are humans, and the brain has the capacity to reach and retain information. So intentionality is one of them. Another mistake students make while studying is that most students study without the view of knowledge. Some of them study just for the sake of passing exams, and when that happens, you miss out on the bigger picture. The bigger picture is knowledge. The end point of every academic exercise, reading inclusive, is to gain knowledge. But when you do not have this at the back of your mind, that you just want to read for exam's sake, just to pass that exam, you miss out on the bigger picture.
I had to reduce my social media because it's a big distraction to a lot of students.
I like watching TikTok a lot, and I like this thing, but I used to avoid it. Yes, I used to avoid it. I used to tell myself that don't talk too much, just limit it. When you play small, play a little bit, then you shut up.
Behind every good result is a sacrifice. Who you surround yourself with matters.
What motivates me is, as I said, my friend. If you have a friend that is doing well in school, like doing well in the exam, you'll be like, I want to be like this girl. This girl she's good. So my friend motivates me a lot.
Most students do not have a mechanism for retention of information. The most important thing is not to read, but to retain information. Because it is what you have retained that you go out there to give us. But if you don't have a mechanism for retention, then there will be issues. And that's why sometimes I tell students, when you read, ask yourself, set questions for yourself. By the time you do that and you are able to even answer those questions, then you will know that, I've retained this information. And anytime you see it anywhere, you'll be able to what? To address that question. And some other ones.
Motivation fades, but discipline remains.
Do you prefer to study in library or at home?
At home.
Okay, so what does your daily study routine look like?
After school, I relax and then go to the classes to study.
Hi,
Hi,
what's your name?
Samson.
Okay, Samson, you're a first class student, right?
Yes.
So I'll ask you a question now. What has been your daily study routine?
Okay. After every class, I always make sure I go home to revise what has been taught, to be able to retain what the lecturer said in class.
Okay, and do you prefer to study in the library or hostel?
Hostel,
Why?
because I feel like that's my own space. That's where I able to assimilate things better.
Thank you.
Ah, that's a very, very serious question. Okay, both are important and essential. But for me, I think discipline is more important than intelligence. There's always a saying that ability can get you to the top, but it takes character. That character is discipline. So, intelligence without discipline is akin to a vehicle without a windscreen. If a vehicle doesn't have a windscreen, it is prone to anything. Anything can come in and hit the driver. So that means, despite the level of intelligence, if a student lacks discipline, there will be issues. And when we are talking of discipline, we have what we call academic discipline. So academic discipline itself involves knowing when to read and when to play. That is part of academic discipline. Academic discipline involves balancing things. Academic discipline involves time management. So all these things are embedded in discipline. And that's why for me, discipline takes precedence over intelligence.
Hi,
Hi,
Miss or Mrs. Miss what?
Progress.
Progress. Miss, you're not smiling. Yeah, sorry. What do you do when you feel lazy? Like, what do you do when you feel lazy? Do you get?
I really reach out to people to encourage me. I reach out to people to encourage me to like read my books. Probably when I'm tired or exhausted to read, I get encouragement from people, and I force myself to read too.
You force yourself to read. Sure. So, where do you prefer reading? Like, in the library or in the hostel? Like, do you prefer noise over silence or silence over noise?
Prefer silence and prefer reading in the library too. But whenever I'm going home, I can read at home because there's always peace in my like hostel.
Yes. So,
Silence.
so to be sure, you prefer like you prefer the library than your house.
I prefer the library because sometimes there might be noise in the house.
So, thank you so much.
People think that high scoring students, people that do well in school, like they don't used to have fun, like they don't play, they are just always serious every time, and they are very wrong. Sorry. People that do well in school, they have their time too, like they play a lot. Yes, I do have fun. That, as I said before, play a little bit, then you walk. Just have it in your mind that you are a student and something that this is what I'm going for. This is what I want when next I see my results.
Even the best students rest because burnout is the enemy of success.
Well, on the average, from my little number of years that I've spent in this institution, I would say that many high scoring students tend to maintain that, while some eventually drop. In fact, I can remember a case that happened recently where a student on a CGPA of 4.18 dropped to 3.76. I also know of certain students that have also had some drops over time, while some are able to maintain it. And I tell students the most important thing is not attainment. the most important thing is maintenance and sustenance. It's not about just being a high scoring student. You need to maintain it and you need to sustain the momentum. And that is one of the pitfalls, yes, that I think some high scoring students sometimes face. Once they attain, they get carried away, they get engrossed in that euphoria, and gradually some of them over time begin to experience a decrease until, well, for some persons it becomes irredeemable, and somebody would always say that it's for some they keep the momentum, while some experience a drop in momentum.
Yes, everyone can be a top student if you know what you are doing. If you are very consistent in what you are doing, you read well. It's not a must you read too much. It's not a must. Just read what you like, just assimilate what you know your brain can take, and that's all.
People see the grades, but not the journey. High scoring students are not born different. They build different habits. And that means anybody can. Ask at least 2 to 4 students. What is your daily study routine? How do you study effectively? What do you do when you feel lazy? What have you sacrificed to stay consistent? Do you really think anybody can be a top student?